relationships, it's not always the other person. Sometimes it's you. And sometimes you look at yourself and say, you know what? Maybe this is something I need to change. This is a pattern. This is something that keeps happening. So it's something that I need to change. It's not always the other people. You ever hear people say, or you ever got hear somebody say, or they were in a relationship and then they'll say, it was that person, or every time it was the other person. After so many times, you gonna have to look at yourself and say, maybe it's something I'm not doing right in this relationship, and I should take some responsibility for what did or did not go on in this relationship. So it's not always the other person, but I would say honesty is the best policy. Always be yourself. Um, Stop listening to these so-called people, telling you this is what you should do to be in a relationship. Now, Steve Harvey is another one who gives relationship advice, and he talks about, you know, wait 90 days before you have sex, and that person wait because when he worked at GM, before I got my benefit package, I had to work 90 days before I got the benefits. I got, I was past my probationary period. But let's think about most men. If you make them wait 90 days to have sex, what are the chances are that they already had sex with somebody else while they're waiting on you? Think about that for a minute. Most men are not really wait that long. I mean, you can, but so what? After the 90 days, then you hit it. Now what? The rest is gone, right? So I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that's always the case. And Steve Harvey is a nice man, I'm pretty sure. But how many times has Steve Harvey been married? Like he's not. He's he's just a man, another man that telling ladies this is what you need to do to keep a man. That will it work? Maybe, maybe not. You never know. But like I said, time and experience will tell you every single thing you need to know. Um, and that's really all I wanted to talk about. It's just that these guys were, coming at me and oh, one more story I got to tell you real quick. Okay, so y'all know that last weekend I was in Universal Studios. I was in Orlando last week, and so I was in this amazing hotel. It was like a resort. It was a resort hotel. It was called, what was it called? The Cabana Bay Beach Resort. Beautiful, beautiful place. It looked like 1950s, 1960s style, everything in there. Like it was a bowling alley inside the hotel. It looked like from the 1950s. Everything in there was huge. Indoor, outdoor pool, beautiful bar. The cars that were parked outside were like 1950 Cadillac, all these beautiful cars and stuff. It was just really nice. And so one night, because of course I took my son and his little girlfriend went with us. And so they were, I took them to the park and stuff. And then so when we come back in, they were my nieces had came in from out of town from Baltimore. And so we all decided to have a drink, and my son and my other little cousins and stuff, they were all kind of like at the bowling alley and at the arcade. They had all that stuff inside the hotel. So anyway, so we're sitting at the bar, and now, mind you, I just told you a few minutes ago, another guy was telling me that he wanted to start over with me. He wanted to start over, but he is very married too, and him and his wife is very much together. But anyway, so I'm sitting at the bar. My nieces come in. We're sitting at the bar, and the bartender comes over, and I'm like making a painkiller. So he makes me a painkiller. If you know what a painkiller is, like coconut rum, and it's pineapple, whiskey. So it's really good drink, really, really sweet, fruity, and it'll sneak up on you, have you drunk. Usually when you get those, they only like two. So my nieces and two of my nieces were there, and so we're drinking at the bar, and so this guy is sitting beside me right there at the bar. He's all in our conversation, right? So, and I'm like, oh, I almost fell off the bench. He's like, oh, I'm right here. I'm gonna catch you. You know what I mean? So he just talks. We just talk so we can talk. every few minutes he interjects in our conversation because he wants to be noticed over there or whatever, I guess. So anyway, so we're talking and we drinking. The bartender comes over. Oh, I made y'all a drink. He made us something and brought us over there because we laughing, talking. We got all the people around the bar laughing, talking, or whatever. We having a good time. You know, we out. It's fun. I think that was like Saturday night before the 4th of July. So we was just cutting up bad. Okay, so the guy, he starts talking to me and he talks to my niece, and my other niece. My two nieces are there, and then it's me. And so he's talking, and he was like, I just want to take one of y'all back to my room, or back to a, no, he said, I want to take one of y'all to a room because we can do some things or something like that, right? And so my niece, she goes over there. She's just kind of talking to him, and I noticed that he has a ring on, right? And so I say, where's your wife? He said, oh, she's here. Now, mind you, for 45 minutes to an hour, he was there inviting pretty much all three of us back to any room to do whatever, right? Of course, we weren't going to do anything with him. We just, messing around, playing around, joking, getting free drinks, basically. But anyway, so he said his wife was in the room with their, I think he said 4-month-old baby, another kid. And I said, so your wife is now, the dude, I know he was lying, but he was just like, I said, do your wife know you down here at the bar, picking up strange women, possibly? Oh, yeah, she knows. She's good with it. I know he was lying. Of course, we weren't going to do anything with him, but the audacity of some men, and it just made me think of the guy who just got married a few months ago, and he's talking to me, talking about I broke his heart, and and why did I break up with him? And I'm pretty sure if I called him right now, he would say, let me come over real quick, or let me come over. But tonight's episode was about male humans, basically, and how they act. And I just, like I said, I come across strange characters. But the guy at the bar, his story changed so many times in the course of an hour. It was so funny. I believe that his wife was there, and she was at the hotel, and she probably was there with kids. And he was down there just trying to get anybody to go back and sleep with him. But I guess, when you got kids at the mall, the wife probably don't want to be bothered. You got to have some respect. You need to be discreet. You need to just do better as far as relationships. But anyway, that's all. I just was talking about men, the male species, and they all trying to give somebody some advice when really they need a little bit of therapy and a little bit of advice, and some women too. But anyway, that's for tonight. I'll be back on tomorrow night, and I'll be talking about, like, a little bit more serious tomorrow night. I'll be talking about Donald Trump and him, telling people that he's going to be reinstated into office next month. Rudy Giuliani and him losing his law license in Washington, D.C. and New York, and Donald Trump not helping him at all with any of that. He don't want parts of it. I'll also be talking about Derek Chauvin. Tomorrow's episode is going to be a couple hours long, though, because I have a lot of topics to cover. The only reason I didn't do it tonight is because I know that I was going to have to get off I only set the show tonight for like 45 minutes. I knew I wasn't going to have enough time to fit all that in. But it's so much information that I want to talk about tomorrow night on a serious note, because Derek Chauvin and his trial, I didn't get to talk about that because I was in Orlando last week. So I didn't even do the show, only because I was going to do it from Universal Studios, but I couldn't do it because when I got there, my and stuff was not quite right, and so it sounded really choppy and bad, so I couldn't do it. But so I'm going to be talking about that and how he was not given the maximum sentence that he could have gotten, and I just felt like he should have got the max. What else did I want to talk about? Just so many things. Tomorrow is more like an open chat because, like I said, I'm going to be covering a whole lot of different topics that I think need to be addressed a whole lot. And the thing, though, that's really sticking out in my mind, Donald Trump and his foolishness, I have a feeling is going to incite some type of incident because he's telling people that he's going to be reinstated. And, of course, we all know that's some tomfoolery and it's not going to happen. But those people who follow him so faithfully, they do believe that it's going to happen. So I just hope and pray that they don't go out there acting a fool. The other thing that I'm going to talk about, too, is the vaccinations and coronavirus and how that's going. And they talk about they got a new strand. And I also want to talk to people that I have talked to that have had corona, but they are what you call long haulers. I had coronavirus way back in October. I think if you listen to the episode, you know symptoms that I had were only loss of taste and smell, I think, and some body ache, something like that. But I know some people who are long haulers, and they're having a bunch of basically they have coronavirus and they're still very sick from it several months after it. So we're going to talk about that too. And I think that's it. But tomorrow, like I said, it's probably going to be like a 2-hour show. But I look forward to you guys coming. I got a lot to cover tomorrow. Thank you for listening. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, and thank you so much for listening.
It's not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame me. Like you have no options. I ain't take your options. Nah, I'm not the problem. Man, that's on you, yeah. You've been terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong. I knew you lost your mind when you dropped that bomb. Girl, are you crazy? Yeah, you must be crazy. I've been thinking lately it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me, but baby, it's you. Lie like a rat, but take your stuff back, baby, it's you. And I would never hear. You've been flexing everywhere. Girl, look in the mirror. Man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me. But baby, it's you. Lie like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you.